Every day, people watch over 1 billion hours of video on YouTube. It's a way for some people to unwind, for some to kill time, and for others to get ad revenue. Oftentimes, content creators make everything look really simple and speedy, so it's always interesting to see when a YouTuber pulls back the curtain and shows how their content's made. This is Mark Rober. He's a former NASA engineer who worked on the Curiosity rover. He was also an engineer at Apple for a while, but nowadays he makes really crazy and awesome builds for his YouTube channel, like a glitter bomb to prank package thieves, or a massive super soaker, or a rocket-powered golf club. Okay, go do yourself a favor and check his channel out. There'll be a link to his channel in the description. This guy's awesome. On December 8th, Mark released a video announcing that he'd be doing a month-long class centered around creative engineering and on the process that he uses on his own builds. Now, how is this thing structured? Well, it's run through this site called Monthly, which is effectively just a Skillshare or a masterclass. Every day you have a variety of tasks, which usually revolve around watching certain videos of Mark going through the specific processes and telling you how to do it. Now, these are not live instruction courses, and you're able to go back and watch them anytime after you've completed them. And although it motivates you to do things within a certain time frame, if you do it late, there's no real penalty, and it just kind of supports you and says, you can get back on track. It's pretty nice, actually. There's no time limit, and you can rewatch them as much as you'd like. And, honestly, that might have some value to it. That's a pretty high compliment for me, because I don't rewatch things unless I really, really like them. Sorry about that. You also have these things called peer groups, which is basically 20 to 25 people who took the class of various skill levels who help each other out. It's a good place to troubleshoot, get ideas, or even get motivation. And honestly, it's very fitting for the class, which is all about engineering in more creative ways rather than just taking one concrete solution. Speaking of the engineering part, let's get into my builds. Now, I do apologize. I'm not the best cameraman and my workshop isn't the brightest place, but we'll see what we can do. I first threw down some note cards with a bunch of ideas. I eventually narrowed it down to one idea, and then I listed out my essential and non-essential requirements and drafted a slight plan and explanation that I could share with my peer group, which I decided to do on cardboard with Sharpie. Why didn't I just use paper or like some sort of computer program? I legitimately don't know. But, long story short, I ended up making a chopstick cleaner. And you might be saying, oh, well, why'd you do that? You can just use soap and water and wash it with your hands. It's like really easy. Why are you even reusing chopsticks? Well, my answer for you is environmentalism, and because it's not for me, it's for my dad. See, I made him some really expensive wooden chopsticks a while back out of this wood called ebony. It's one of the most expensive woods in the entire world, and that's saying something. So naturally, you'd expect when I make something for someone out of it, they'd want to take good care of it, right? Wrong! See, my dad loves his ebony chopsticks, but he never cleans them. He just leaves them on the counter where germs can form on them. Or, if he's feeling really funny, like a real clown, he'll put them in the dishwasher. And I hope you all know that you shouldn't put wooden things in the dishwasher. If it's bamboo, maybe, that's one thing. Anyways, I decided to make something that would sit on the counter, kind of be there, so it would be like a nice reminder, something that sits on the counter and metaphorically yells at you to clean it. Although something that yells at him would be really funny. Maybe I do that another time. So I found out pretty early on that sponges wouldn't work since they didn't attach to Velcro, and I didn't really want to glue a sponge on. So I decided to look at the hardware store and see what they had to offer. And I decided to do it in portrait mode because I didn't think.
Whoa, 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 here we are. Going big box Home Depot. I'm gonna be looking for some brushes. Oh, here we go. I got Crocs. Alright. I think I'm gonna first look by the... Oh, there's people. I don't want to go nearby people. They might be in the disc sampler part. I don't see any brushes. I see a lot of valves and stuff. Grinding stuff. Hazmat suit. No, that's a rain suit. Oh, I should probably take off. Ink brushes. I don't think that's what I'm looking for. Crap. Don't know what I'm looking for in terms of crank hardware. How does a crank work? I know it works, but, I don't know. Plywood. Okay. No. No. So these are way too big, and they're not for the kitchen type stuff that I want to do. Oh! 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 Yes. 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 Yes, this is what I need. I think, right? Okay, I'm gonna buy 2. Time to do the checkout. Oh, oh no, that's like a rotary. Dang it. Like if I get like a screw through that hole, you just look down a hole and hold on. Is that a mosquito killer? No, Steve. This is why I can't go places. Alright. I think it goes in here, does it? Yeah. I'm probably being very stupid right now. Okay, no. Oh, right. Thank you. Sounds like a paper shredder in there. Wait. Is it? Oh. Ooh, penny. Ooh. Woohoo! Got palm brushes. I was gonna record myself, like, scanning the items, but it needed 2 hands, and I would make a laser gun pew sound. Like, I go pew whenever I scan it. I just get a lot of weird looks. I feel so independent. Palm brushes. You're going to be gutted. I'm very sorry for this.
May I say, some of the most masterful cinematography I have ever seen right there. Just absolute 10 out of 10. Ah, yes, the building process. Why don't we get into that?
The brushes. So the final test is, does it work? It kind of catches here, but yes, it spins. And it's kind of off center here. And when I try and put something in there to clean it, and I keep spinning it, and I keep spinning it, eventually it just kind of comes undone. And that was something I kind of was afraid of, but yeah, that's not good. So I'm gonna have to reevaluate. Just kind of gotta wait for it to dry. Did some crazy glue on the threads, hoping to keep that in place. And yeah, we'll see how it comes out. Kind of grinding in a weird way against the whatever it is, like the in-between wall or whatever. So I made this tiny little ring. Let's see if I could put that around there. Maybe when I put this in here, it'll spin a little quieter. That's what I'm hoping. Destroyed, I think I'm gonna put a washer or something, like maybe a nut or whatnot, directly inside of here. And if I can stabilize a nut in there and keep it centered, then it'll prevent a lot of the problems that I dealt with last time. So I used a Forstner bit here. These are really great for drilling flat bottomed holes. I came really close to the actual bristles where they were in there, but now, God, where did I put it? I literally just had it. How do I lose something that I literally just had? It's on my utility knife. Just pop it. Stop turning that other way. There we go. Look at that. Yeah, it's pretty much centered as far as I could tell. I can just glue or whatever that in there. It should be working fine. So yeah. So now that's drying. Hopefully that was 90 degrees. If it wasn't, I'm gonna have to go back to Home Depot. My next step is to consider what I need to do, but I'm not sure what I should do. So yeah, I guess there's only one real thing I can do is see if I can get on that. Cut the PVC out, and I sanded it to 400 grit. I've marked on here with a knife, even though I should have used a marker. Fits nicely inside the tube. I'm struggling with one hand, recording the camera. Turns out I just sort of ended up wedging this piece of plywood in there. It's a lot easier than getting the dowel, and it's not budging, it's not going anywhere. Yeah, and I can also draw a center line much better. Let's see if it even still fits inside of this. Oh yeah. No, that's really good. Made the crank. Spins well. Next step is to get this in there and then attach the PVC to something and make a stage for it, and then we're done. Yeah, so here's the base. Small. I slimmed this down considerably. Just cut off the screw heads for this thing that's holding it in place, and I'm going to glue these two together now. It's painted. Just waiting for that to dry and then I can attach it. I got these little thingies so that it'll not get wet on the bottom. So here it is. It's really hard to do with one hand. Yeah, it is really hard to do with one hand. Is it stable? Yes. Does it spin smooth? Yes, for the most part I'd say it does. Is it sort of waterproof? I have no idea. I'll have to figure that out over time. Conclusion, it's a success.
For build number 2, we had to use Arduino to make something that either helped you make art or made art. Now, I do digital art, I do physical art. I'm not really great at either of them, and I'm definitely not good at coding or using Arduino. So what I ended up making was something that functioned as a timer for me, so that way I could track how much time I spent a day doing art, because I don't like to set a timer on my phone. It's much easier if I can just plug something in, and then just wait and say, oh, yeah, I've been doing it for 10 minutes, or oh, I should do it for 20 minutes longer. Basically, I have these creatures called arbiters, and I'm making a story about them, or with them in it, and it's kind of, I'm working on it, I'm working hard on it, I like them. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to make a timer, and every 10 minutes, one of the lights goes on, and after an hour, it'll make a noise. It used a lot of skills that I wasn't really comfortable with, or that I didn't really think I was too great at, like painting, circuitry, soldering, especially on the coding part. I basically plagiarized all the code, and I still couldn't get it right.
So what I want to happen is these 6 lights to go on, and then it beeps, but then... Oh.
And then after a couple more hours, I had gotten it to work before it was supposed to, and I just fumbled over words so much here, and it was just too amazing.
Fit 6 lights up, it beeps, and it lights up when you have the 5th light up, and I'm not sure why.
It would be a long time before I realized my problem.
So I just changed the value of LED equals 8, and then I made it think that there's another LED, so when I reset it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes! Oh my god! Yes, 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 yes. Finally! I'm so excited. This took me like, what, Max, like 30 minutes?
Clearly, I really needed something to keep track of time, because that was definitely not 30 minutes. I looked back on the time in between the first clip and the second clip, and it was about 2.5 hours. It was also fun to test my skills of wood carving, because I'm a woodworker, but I don't often carve things. And there was a lot of phases where I had to fix it, and I would have been much better off if I'd purchased an Arduino Nano, which is effectively a much smaller, much more compact Arduino with the same capabilities. So that was build 2, and I use it pretty much daily, and I love it. It's personal to me, no one's got one like it, and I learned a ton making it. Build number 3. By this point in the video, you probably are thinking, why did this take him so long to create something like this? This class is in January, and he's uploading this late March. What? Why is... How does that make any sense? God, you're so lazy. Yeah, and I think half the time, I just am very forgetful. If I put something in front of my computer that says, hey, you gotta do this, hey, you gotta do that, I think I'm much more likely to see it, because a lot of the time that I waste is spent at my computer. Build number 3 was supposed to be about habits, whether it be breaking a bad one or forming a good new one. For me, it was a 2-in-1. I decided I'm going to make a to-do list that I can press a button and see the tasks that I've completed go down and up. I settled on using some sort of flags and motor design, and I didn't know this at the time, but the brain of the Arduino is a little simple. In short, it's not really great at doing multiple things at once, and I wanted to have it looking for input from different buttons to make different motors go up and down, rather than have every single motor go up and down when I hit one button. The motors I was using, you needed 3 wires for each. One that gave you the power, one that was the ground, and one that was the input. Whenever both the power and the ground and the input were connected and the input pin was triggered, it would move the motor up and down, as long as the input pin kept on being triggered. So I decided, what if I just...
I last used this board 3 years ago. What was I doing? The motor's burned up. So we got the diagram for the push button version. Gotten one to work. Is my speaker dying? Basically, it takes the input. Instead of saying, okay, there's 2 inputs, it says there's 1 input. But it goes out to 2 wires, and one of these wires goes to one of the motors, one of them goes to the other. So if I hold one of the buttons, it'll only... Not quite the result I was hoping for. Okay, so it's a little wonk, but here's how it works. Press this button, and this one goes, and then I hold down this one. So, it dried alright. I can press the buttons on the other side. I'm gonna get some nice wood and put it in there. Alright, it's been really difficult. Moment of truth, button. And then I hit this button once, only one of the motors should go. And if I hold this button, and I press it once... Nice! Nice. Not bad. Looks kind of like a face, don't you think? The button's pressed well. I unfortunately got that mark on there. Gives it character. But yeah. Okay, I really don't like that mark. I'm gonna try and fix it. There we go. That's a lot better. What, you say you still see something? Oh, you mean all this oil that hasn't fully dried on yet? No, you mean you see some scratch there? No, you don't. You're full of it. I don't believe you, and go to jail. This is wenge. It's very pretty. Won't need a lot. This will be more than enough. Very tiny. I like. Yeah, those little bits of solder kind of look like... They kind of look like pearls. I bet you could sell a fake one to someone if you made it convincing enough. Not bad. It looks pretty nice, if I say so. Pretty excited about this. Now I just gotta make the little flags that go on top. So they're pretty easy to make. You just get a Post-it, cut it into strips of 4, do some tape, leave an empty segment, and you can just put whatever you want on them. So if I wanted to move this one down, I just hit the white one, press the middle one, then I hit it again.
It works. But at the end of the day, it took me absolutely forever. You might not see it by the looks of the outside box, but the inside of this thing is absolutely stuffed. This was one of the most tight fits that I think I've ever seen in my entire life. I can swap out the flags, and when I've done it, I can plug the battery in, and I can watch it go down. And there's nothing more satisfying than seeing the top of my monitor flat again, because I'm a little bit OCD, but not enough that I care to keep things tidy. Just that I care to keep things sort of uniform and symmetrical. And you feel like you actually did something when you put it down. You're like, wow. At the end of the day, I go to turn off my computer, and I see that I have both my flags down. I'm in a good mood. Beating myself up over not being able to get everything done in a day. Composing your own music, woodworking for 3 hours, 3D modeling for an hour and a half, creating an entire story and universe for an hour and a half, doing art, make sure that you eat. This makes me prioritize, although I still have to work on the eating part. I do sometimes forget to eat. Yeah, that's probably not really that great. But it's cool, because I can say, yes, I did that. This is a place that I spent a ton of time, so I'm guaranteed to see it. By the way, this was possibly the most exhausting process I've ever done. This took me over like 20 hours to get this entire thing working. This was just literally the most painful experience I've ever done, but it was so worth it, and I'm so proud of myself for doing it, and I honestly feel like it has made me a better person and made me more productive. Before the video ends though, I would like to talk about some things. I know this seems like a sponsored video or something that's incredibly one-sided, but I usually don't like to criticize things if I can't do them better myself. And I don't really have anything to criticize about this class, even if I ignore that. It was exactly as advertised. It really brought my self-confidence up a lot, which is from a 0 to maybe a 5, which is pretty impressive. It showed me that I can do a lot more things than I thought. It showed me that things didn't have to be as complex and I could break them down, and I've been able to apply that to dealing with emotional conflicts and dealing with other conflicts, not just ones in terms of creating things. It showed me that things aren't as easy as they look on the other side of curtains of YouTube and everything, and I mean, I knew that, but I didn't know that everyone struggled with that. And in a way, this kind of forced me to collaborate with people, and I'm not really the best at that. I've never considered myself a team player, going so far as to isolate myself in group projects and everything. This class changed all that. Thank you, Mark Rober. You ever make another class, I'll be happy to take it. For anyone still watching, God, you must be so bored. Well, it's over now. Have a great one. Subscribe to Trollface Gaming.